Okay, so I'm going to stack these numbers. I'm stacking 38, 19, 22, 44, 6, 28, and 11. Okay, I want you to go ahead and take a minute to add those up. All right, when I added those up, I got 168 points. 168 points. So I did my first step of averaging, which was to add them up. Now I have to divide. Remember, to find out the number that I divide by, I count up the number of numbers that I added together. So I'm going back to my problem. Let me see. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I added 7 numbers together. That means I'm going to have 168 divided by 7. 1 divided by 7, I can't do that, so I'm going to have to look at 16 divided by 7. Fits in 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. 16 minus 14 equals 2. I bring down my 8. Now I have 28 divided by 7, which is 4. 4 times 7 equals 28. I subtract and get 0. That means that 168 divided by 7 equals 24. I'm going to do a quick check of that math. 24 times 7. Yeah, 168. That means that my math there is correct. So, what was the average number? Okay, first in parentheses, because I added first. That was my first operation that I did. I'm going to start with a parenthesis for my number sentence. I'm writing out 38 plus 19 plus 22 plus 44 plus 6 plus 28 plus 11. Okay, I added those all together, so now I'm going to do my end parenthesis. That was the first thing that I did, everything that was in that those parentheses. Then I took that answer and I divided it by 7, which gave me 24. The boys scored the following number of points. What was the average number of points? This means that I'm going to label this with points. And my answer here is 24 points. Don't forget to label. For number 3, it's having us use our math student notebook. We're not going to do this problem together. I personally don't have my math student notebook at home. If you do have your math student notebook at home, you could go ahead and complete this. So on my paper, I'm just writing skip for number 3 because I'm going to skip this problem. Okay, now I'm going to look at number 4. Number 4 says, write each number shown by the arrows using a common fraction and a decimal fraction. We know that a common fraction has a denominator of 10, and we know that a decimal fraction is going to have a decimal point in it. Before I start figuring out where these are located, I'm going to go ahead and label my whole number line. Okay. To make sure that my denominator is 10, I'm going to make sure there's 10 spots to skip. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, my denominator really is 10. I'm going to start at 0 and count all the way to 2. Please count with me as I fill these in. 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, 1. 1 and 1 tenth, 1 and 2 tenths, 1 and 3 tenths, 1 and 4 tenths, 1 and 5 tenths, 1 and 6 tenths, 1 and 7 tenths, 1 and 8 tenths, 1 and 9 tenths, 2. Now I have my whole number line filled in. I just have to figure out where these letters are pointing to. So when I go to point A, I see that it is pointing to 7/10. That means that my common fraction for A is 7/10. Now I'm going to look at B. When I circle it, I see that B is pointing at 1 1/10. So my common fraction is 1 1/10. When I look at C, I'm going to circle it and I see that it is at 1 8/10. So I'm going to fill in C equals 1 8/10. Now I'm going to change these over to decimal fractions. Okay. When I look at A 7/10, I know that that is 0, decimal point 7. 1 1/10, I change that to 1, decimal point 1. 1 8/10, I change that to 1, decimal point 8. Okay, I completed all the steps for number 4. Moving on to number 5.